All right, how's everybody doing? I'm Jeremy Langlois coming to you from Houmas House Estate and Gardens. I hope everybody's doing well out there, and I'm super excited today because I'm cooking one of my favorite ingredients, and that is crawfish. I absolutely love crawfish. It's January. We're starting to see some of those first sacks of crawfish here in Louisiana, and I already know a couple people who've done some crawfish boils, and crawfish season for us will last through about May, early June. And it's just a great time if you're a Louisianian. You know, we love crawfish. It reminds me of a story whenever several years ago, Top Chef, the popular show, actually filmed a quick fire challenge out at the front lawns of Houmas House for the series or for the season finale that year. And I got to work with the producers of Top Chef, and they came, they checked out the grounds, and they were talking to me, and they were saying, hey, they wanted to do a dish and feature game. What game did I think spoke that when you thought of this game, you thought Louisiana? And my response was, well, definitely true. We love our game and we love hunting, and you know, Louisiana is the sportsman's paradise. But I said, by far, crawfish is the one ingredient that when you think crawfish, you think Louisiana. I love crawfish, so we're going to be doing several crawfish recipes throughout the crawfish season. With that said, all my recipes are always so easily adaptable. So if you're not able to get crawfish, just throw in some shrimp, throw in chicken. You can still do the same recipe because we're doing a pasta. And just sub it out if you're not able to get crawfish. But we love using our local ingredients here. So let's just go ahead and get started. Real simple dish. We're doing a crawfish and andouille pasta. Let's just get started and we'll talk about it as we go. We have a skillet on, kind of got it on medium-high heat. And of course, like always, you have any questions, my friend Jesse's behind the camera. Hit us up in our comments. Give us a share or a like. We love that. We're happy to answer any questions you may or may not have. We're going to go ahead and get started. A little extra virgin olive oil into a hot skillet. And we're just going to go ahead and this is some chopped andouille. I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm putting this in first. If you don't have access to andouille, andouille is the sausage of Louisiana. It's a heavy, I love it. It has a great heavy smoked sausage. It's almost like a ham. Whenever they make the sausage, they actually use a large die on the meat grinder, which produces these large pieces of pork, which then gets mixed with seasoning, stuffed into a sausage, and then it's smoked oftentimes for 24 hours to give this great flavor. If you don't have andouille sausage, a smoked sausage or chorizo, be creative. Any sausage would be absolutely fantastic in here. Just dice it up and throw it in your skillet. If you don't even want to use sausage, you can put some diced bacon in here and crisp up that bacon, and bacon would be a fantastic addition to this pasta in lieu of the andouille sausage. But we always go in, just like if we were adding bacon, I always like to add, anytime I'm cooking with any kind of sausage or meat or andouille, I always like to go straight into the skillet first, just like we have here. And what that does is it starts to render. We start to extract some of that fat from the sausage, and then also the sausage itself starts to caramelize and get some great color on the outside. And anytime we are able to caramelize a piece of meat, that always adds an extra depth of layer of flavor and texture to what we're cooking. Just like a steak we would grill or sear a steak as opposed to boiling a steak, because boiling a steak is not going to have a great texture. Same thing here, we want to get a nice texture on the outside. But watch how quickly this comes together. I love recipes like this because once you have a couple of items chopped up and ready to go, we're just going to start throwing stuff in a pan, and it's going to be done in real time, really simple. Man, I wish y'all could smell it in here. It smells amazing. Once we have some good color on that sausage, a little bit of the chopped shallots or red onions, and some diced garlic is going to go into here as well. I'm just going to kind of just quickly saute this. Not looking to get color on it, but that's not a big deal. We're just looking to kind of wilt these vegetables. And by wilting the vegetables, it allows to kind of pull out as much flavor from them as we can. Really start to get some good flavor up in here. So give that a little shake. And just really starting to kind of have that come together. And that is looking good. Now, once this is our base for our seasoning. Now, again, I love adapting recipes. This is if you wanted to have more vegetables in your pasta, which would be fantastic. This would be a great time to throw it in. Fresh peas, some cut squash, Brussels sprouts, whatever it might be, diced carrots. Now would be the time. You can get creative. You can throw some different vegetables in here and it would be perfect. But now we're ready to start adding our liquids to make the sauce. I'm actually going to start off first with chicken stock. Because we will be adding some cream to this dish shortly, I typically don't like to make my pastas, the sauce form, only cream. I find it is too rich. But adding a little bit of chicken stock or any kind of stock really helps, add some great flavor, but it lightens it up a little bit. Now, you might be asking yourself, Jeremy, why are you adding chicken stock to a crawfish pasta? Well, I hate to sound like a broken record because I've said this on several of my videos, but chicken stock is a great neutral stock. I'm a big fan of going to the grocery store and buying the boxes of chicken broth. However, if you don't want to add chicken stock to it, because we're using crawfish, a seafood broth would be fantastic. It would match perfectly. A vegetable broth would be fantastic. Just looking to add something other than water that adds a little bit of flavor to it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of, just a couple tablespoons of tomato sauce. This is just, you can get it right out of a can, and that's just, tomato paste would probably be a little too thick. You just have to add a little more liquid, but that would work as well. But just a little bit of tomato is going to kind of give this a nice kind of pink color. It's going to give it a little bit of body and some richness, and also tomato, so it's going to have some great flavor as well. But just a little bit, and it kind of starts to bring this whole sauce together, and the tomato itself kind of thickens up that stock that we just had. We want the sauce to be a little thick so it sticks to the pasta. Now we're going to come back and add a little splash of heavy cream. Again, not that much, just a little splash right in there, because I'm not looking to have my sauce too rich. But this is absolutely personal preference for you. If you want your sauce more creamier, well, you can add more cream, no problem. Now, once we get to this point, I want to show you what we're going to do. We want this to just simmer for a few minutes. I have my crawfish here. Now, let me talk about this real quick. Crawfish oftentimes comes in a 1 pound bag. You want to open it up. I've heard people say you then take it out and rinse the crawfish off. Never do that because you're going to lose a lot of flavor. You get so much flavor of that fat that you're putting out of here, and you never want to get rid of the fat. There's so much flavor in there. But what I'm going to do first, watch what I'm doing, y'all. I'm going to add a little bit of crawfish first, and I'm going to let that cook. And then right at the end, I'm going to add the rest of my crawfish. And what I'm doing is I'm actually doing what I like to call a sacrifice to the flavor gods. By adding the crawfish into here now, while it's just cooking and bubbling away, it's going to extract a lot of that great seafood flavor, whether it's shrimp, whether it's crawfish, whether it's oysters. But what's going to happen is these are going to overcook and basically cook to nothing. But we get that flavor out, and then at the end, I'm going to add some fresh so they're not overcooked. Everybody with me? Now we're ready to go to the seasoning part where we add some different seasoning to here and start to get some extra flavor out of it. So what goes good with this? Well, depending on how spicy you like things, and you know me, I say this oftentimes, I'm a wimp when it comes to spice, but I do like to add just a couple pinches of red pepper flakes. So I'm going to add a couple pinches of red pepper flakes depending on how spicy. Some people love spice, add a little bit more. Hot sauce would be great to go into here right now. But a little bit of pepper flakes, which is going to get some heat. Some good old salt, cracked black pepper, and I have some fresh herbs. So the herbs I'm using today, and if you look on our recipe, which our recipes are found on our Houmas House website, houmashouse.com. If you go there, on the top you see a resource tab. You can click that, and one of the sections will say recipes. Every recipe we've ever done is found there. And you'll see on our recipe for this, we're adding sage. Now this is kind of a different herb. That's probably not as common when using with crawfish and pasta, but give it a try. I think sage has a very strong, bold flavor, and I think by adding just a couple leaves of these chopped sage, it's going to add a really great flavor to your pasta, really distinct. So a little sage is going to go in there. And now we're ready to go. So this can be done ahead of time, and then right whenever you're ready to serve it or have this all come together, I'm going to add my last of my crawfish, and since this is all seasoned and cooked and flavorful and ready to go, we're just looking to add the crawfish in here just to warm these crawfish up. Crawfish are already cooked, so we're just looking to put a little heat on them. And now we're going to go in with our pasta. I have a little bit of fettuccine here, and I'm just going to add this in. This fettuccine is still warm, so I boiled the pasta, poured it out into a colander, and just let it kind of sit there at room temperature until I was ready to serve. If you wanted to make this ahead of time, you would boil your pasta, dump it into your colander, run a little cool water on it, and it's ready to be stored. And then you can put it back in the colander, run some hot water over it, shake out all that excess water just to warm it up. But it is going to coat in this hot sauce. But I do want to I don't want it to be ice cold when it goes into here. So once we have the pasta in here, if you're cool like me, just give it a little flip. Jesse, you think you could do this like this at home?
Yeah.
I'm very confident. Look at Jesse. But shoot, I know if I let some of my people at home do it, it'd be a mess in our kitchen. Jesse's raised her hand. She got a question. What you got, Jess?
Annie said that you make it ahead of time. Could they make it the day before and reheat and add the crawfish?
Absolutely. So that's exactly what you want to do. So if you wanted to make this ahead of time, you would cook the sauce exactly how we've done and don't add the crawfish or add that little sacrifice. You can do that. Then what you want to do is take that sauce off, cool it to room temperature, very important because you don't want it to spoil because it does have a little seafood in it. Then once it's at room temperature, you can now wrap it and stick it in your refrigerator. And then whenever you're ready to serve it, come back a day or two later, put it back into a skillet or a pot, bring it up to a boil, then add your crawfish to it, and then add your pasta, and you're ready to go. Hope that helped you. So once we have this coated, we're pretty much ready to go. Couple things. Anytime you're dealing with pasta, pasta is one of my favorite. I love pasta dishes. I oftentimes when I make pasta, depending on, this is all personal preference, but I like to just have enough sauce to kind of coat the noodles, but I don't like it swimming in sauce. Some people are sauce people that want to be able to sop it up with a piece of bread when they're done. Completely up to you, but I always add enough pasta in here just to where I can coat the noodles, but it's not really dripping. So we're going to come back to serve this. We're going to go right to our plate. Put that pasta on here and then definitely come back with all that good andouille and crawfish on top. A little bit of that extra sauce. Let's see, get that rim cleaned up. And then, of course, to finish it, got to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Anytime, I got a nice little microplaner here, but a cheese grater is fantastic. Anytime you could use fresh Parmesan cheese, I mean, it really elevates what you're doing. Of course, if you go and buy some pre-shredded Parmesan, I'm not going to judge you. The food police isn't going to show up to your house. But just having that fresh cheese right on top is just really takes it to the next level, makes it fantastic. I come back with a little bit of green parsley. This is just a little parsley. If you had some sage, a little bit of that chopped up would be fantastic. And there you go, guys. This is our andouille and crawfish pasta. Just a few ingredients, really simple to make. I would love for everyone at home to give this a try. Let me know how it comes out for you. And we will be serving this in our Carriage House restaurant. Let's see, today's Thursday, so we'll be serving it Friday and Saturday for lunch. Would love to have y'all come out and give it a try if you're local. If not, give it a try at home. Let me know how it worked out for you. And we will see you next week, guys. Thank you so much.